Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today we're going to take a look at two electric pencil sharpeners. I get asked a lot about electric pencil sharpeners because that's what I use for my colored pencils. And we're going to see the pros and cons of each style. And these are current products you can buy now on Amazon if you are interested. Obviously, use whatever you have, but if you are in the market for something new, this might be helpful. So I've used pencil sharpeners kind of like this for the last 10 years or so. The one that I've been using is the smaller one here, so it's got a smaller hopper, and it takes 6 to 8 millimeter pencils, which for the most part will serve about 90% of my colored pencil needs. But then if you get the square pencils or you get the jumbo pencils, they don't quite work there. So AFMAT sent me these two to compare and review. This one has a dial on it where you can adjust the point of the pencil. We're going to see if that works because honestly I've had pencil sharpeners that do that, and I've never really noticed a big difference between the steepness of the point that you can change it, but I'm hoping where AFMAT is more of a long-standing brand, it might work a little bit better. And then we've got this desktop version that has suction cups and a bigger catcher, a bigger shavings catcher, kind of more what you'd see like in a schoolroom or classroom use or heavy pencil user. So we're going to compare these two. Now I had one of this style for the longest time and I really liked it, except over the years it slowed down quite a bit, where instead of it taking 3 seconds to sharpen a pencil like, you know, one of these more modern ones, it would take me about 20 seconds, which isn't a huge deal, but you know, it was just kind of a drag. So I did replace it with that smaller one. The only downside is I couldn't sharpen my square pencils in there, so I stopped using my square pencils. The nice thing about this sticking to the table is that you don't have to hold it down. That could be more useful if you have a disability where you know, you don't have use of both of your hands, or you don't have hand strength in both of your hands. So we're going to see how they go, and I have already plugged them in, so that that is good. We're ready to go. And we're gonna take a look. So the thing I probably sharpen the most would be these really soft core pencils. So I've got two Prismacolor pencils here. If you're wearing headphones, you may want to take them out for this video because it's probably going to get loud. So this one, I've got this set to I'm gonna set this to a more shallow point, and we're gonna, okay, we do have to hold on to it. Okay, you can kind of feel it stop, and at a shallow point, I'm getting a really sharp needle point there. So let me try this one, and I'm just tipping it up. It's already set to the standard size hole, so we're going to try that. Okay, this one auto stopped, but it felt like it was really kind of chewing down my pencil. So you know what I want to do? I want to try that again, but I want to use a couple ChromaFlow pencils. So I want to try to find two that are about the same length. Okay, these are the same length. I'm going to sharpen them in each of these pencils and see if they take the same amount away. So let's just put them next to each other like that. So that one is a little bit shorter in the tip, but the overall length of the pencil is the same. So just to be, I'll put the longer one in this pencil sharpener because it seems like that one was taking it down further. Okay, they both auto stopped. Uh-oh, this one broke. So I didn't really lose any length on that. So let's see. A lot of times it will say to push the lead through if it breaks. Okay, there we go. So that one did chew more off, but I think it's because the lead broke. I don't think that's a fair assessment. So let's take another one that's about the same length here, and okay, auto stop. That's good. All right, give us a fairly blunt point, and I guess it didn't chew away any. So I think both of them are fine as long as you don't have breaks in the pencil. If you got breaks in the pencil, or if you force it in beyond the auto stop, then it's going to chew your pencil up a little bit more. So let's do these two. So you want to push them in, but not really force them. All right, that auto stop gave me a nice sharp point. This one, maybe I didn't push that one in enough. But first, I want to switch the point over to the steep one and see if I get a different point with this one. Okay, see, I'm not really seeing a difference between, like, this was the one with the shallow point, this was the one with the steep point, and to me, if they look at all different, it's the shallow point actually looks steeper. So that's kind of weird. And so that's that's the experience I had with the other sharpener I have that lets you adjust the point sharpness. It doesn't really do anything. So if you've had a different experience, please let me know. I thought maybe with the AFMAT, that being a more reputable, I don't say reputable brand, but more famous brand, that it would work a little bit better. Because sometimes I see these other sharpeners, I feel like they're copying the AFMAT, but I'm not seeing any difference between those. But I did want to try, let's see, I already sharpened all those. Let me take another Prismacolor here, because the reason I'm doing Prismacolor and ChromaFlow first is because those have very soft leads, and if you're going to get problems with a sharpener, that's where you're going to get them. Okay, have I clogged this? Because this is not what I would consider sharp. What's going on? Okay, that's a nice sharp point. All right, interesting. I feel like this one wanted to stop on me, but it did sharpen it, so I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to try some different brands because I want to see if I can do my square pencils. So here I have a caliper. In case you're curious about how wide those pencils are, Prismacolor is a 7mm pencil. ChromaFlow is a 6.8mm pencil. So a Prismacolor is pretty much the thinnest that I use. Actually, let's look at this one. I think this one might be a little bit thinner. This is a 6.6. This is a Lyra Tritone pencil. These are kind of fun because they have, I'm going to switch down to the smallest hole on this and see if this fits this. Oh, it does. I would use the smallest hole that your pencil would fit into just to eliminate shaking. That sharpened that beautifully and very quickly. So I'm already liking this better than the old Office Max ones that I had because it was so slow, but boy, that sharpened that beautifully. Let me find another tritone one and sharpen it in the tall one. Now, one thing I've always, oh, we got a Derwent drawing pencil. That'll be a good one to try. One thing that I've always cautioned against is sharpening pastel or chalk or charcoal pencils in electrics. I never do that. I don't recommend it. I'm not going to do it today because I think you're just asking to jam it and dull it, and that's not a great situation. Here's another tritone one. Let's sharpen that in this tall one and see how that one does. It's almost like they have the thing backwards because I get a much sharper point when I have it on the blunt end. Isn't that weird? Maybe they got their decals on wrong or something. That did a great job on that too. I think the point was sharper in the desktop version though. Here's a Derwent drawing pencil. Yeah, I want to see how this one handles an 8mm. I think this is an 8mm pencil. This is, what? Why is this a 7.7? I always thought those were thicker. Oh wow, look at that. That did a great job. And that's a really thick lead. If you look at the back, this is an old style one, so you can see the size of the lead on the back. I'm going to see if I have another Derwent drawing in here, because this is my open stock rando pencils. I might not have another Derwent drawing pencil in here. My case of the Derwent drawings are upstairs. Actually though, I do have one I can grab, because I have some extra back stocks in here with some older, no longer available Derwent pencils. Here we go. We got one right here. Let's try that. And it's not gonna, oh, it actually fits in the standard hole. So your standard hole will accommodate 8mm or 7.5mm. That does a beautiful job there too. Okay. All right, wow, okay, this isn't really giving me much trouble. Here are some really thick pencils. These are by Ibu. They're a rainbow pencil. Let's see how big these are. 10.1mm. Let's see if this will handle it. I think this is supposed to do up to 12mm, so. Oh my goodness, it fit. So the bigger the oh holy cow, look at that. The bigger the diameter, the longer it takes to sharpen. But here's another one. And it didn't really, look at that, it didn't really whittle away. any of the lead. It just took the wood away. These were fairly new. I bought them, I played with them a bit, and then they just kind of fell to the bottom of the drawer, and I never really went for them again, but maybe I will now, because I think partially because I didn't have a sharpener big enough for them. Poor planning. So let's try this on the largest round hole we have on this. So I'm just going to unsuction that for a second. That's our largest round hole. Ah, okay, it's not going to fit in there. Let's see if it will take... Okay, it's not going to fit these big ones. So if you've got these big 10mm things, you're going to want to go, pencils, you're going to want to go with the upright and not the desk one, because that's deceiving, because you get to about, I'm betting that's about 9mm, and then you're going to have to go to a triangle one, so that's weird. So let's get to the square ones. The square ones are really, these are beautiful pencils. These are by Brutfuner. I don't know if they still make them or not, but you can still get square pencils by different companies. These were the unicorn pencil. The quality was so good, and they didn't roll off your desk. Beautiful matte colors, and they were really fun because if you like to take photographs of your work, you could put your the colored pencils in the shot, like for Instagram, whatever. They wouldn't roll away, and the matte finish just looked really pretty. So we're going to try both of these in these sharpeners. They are, the purple one's, purpley brown one's a little bit shorter, but not too different. So I'm going to start off here in the tall one. Oh, look at that. Took it no problem. Beautiful sharp point. That did great, and that's with the dull setting. Maybe I'll do one on the sharp setting, and we'll see if it's any different with the square pencil. But this works great, because none of my other ones would, except for my old desk one like this, would fit the square ones. Oh, okay. So the teal one was a sharp one, and the purple one was a dull one. Okay, I do get just slightly a longer point on the teal one. So maybe there's a little bit of variation. I don't know. It seems like there's too much variation between what pencils I sharpen. And then we're going to try this one. This will fit in the largest hole, so I'm going to try the next to the largest hole. No, it will fit in the largest circular hole on the desktop one. It sharpened it fine. But I will say the points on the tall one are a little bit steeper. But I don't think that would cause me any problem. I think either would be fine. I'm trying to see if I have any weird pencils. I don't have any triangular pencils. Most triangular pencils will go in the round holes too. So let me try these. These I bought these on a lark because I love the neutral tones. They're by Lyra. They're called Furby, I think, or Super Furby or something. And they're just like a skin tone set of pencils. They do come in colors too. They have nice thick cores, and let's see what the size of these are. 9.6. So I don't think they're going to fit in this one, but we'll give it a try. So this is on the steep setting. Oh wow. Look at that tip. And it didn't take any of the length away. That's impressive. And that is not going to fit in the biggest hole. It'll almost, but it's not quite big enough to fit in the biggest hole. Let's see if it will go into a triangular one. No, it won't. So I'm going to say, you know what, we'll sharpen this one on the more shallow tip and see what that does. Maybe like slightly more shallow, but not, that wouldn't be the selling feature that I would buy this one for, like steep to shallow points. If that's so important to you, there's little handheld ones by T-Gal that will give you a big variety, but that doesn't take the bigger pencils. And I find they don't last very long, but that's just my personal experience. I'm just gonna look through this random box really quick, but I don't think I have any triangular pencils. If I did, I think they have been given away. Yeah, usually your triangle pencils come from more like children's sets. But I'm really impressed with how this will take all my larger pencils. I did want to use a caliper though and just show you on the square pencil. When you're doing a square pencil and you're trying to figure out if it's going to fit in a sharpener, you don't want to measure it like this, right across the skinniest part. That's 6.8. You want to go kitty corner, because it's got to fit. It's got to fit kitty corner. And kitty corner, this is 8 millimeters. But I can't sharpen these in this 6 to 8 millimeter sharpener. It won't go. It won't fit. So that's something you want to keep in mind if you do like these square pencils or you're thinking about getting them and you need to get a sharpener. The 6 to 8 millimeter ones are not going to cut it. You need something with a like 9 millimeter hole or larger. So for my use, I like how this has a smaller hole, because if you're a school teacher and you have younger children doing Prismacolor projects or doing projects with regular graphite pencils, the fact that you can dial this down to a very slim barrel means you're not going to have rocking in the machine. So let me grab one of these Chromaflows. Chromaflows, the Prismacolors, they're all very finicky because the leads are so soft, but those are so wonderful for kids, or if you have any strength issue, maybe you're a coloring book enthusiast and you like to, you know, you've got a little arthritis. These soft pencils are so wonderful. You can lay down so much color. The fact that we can dial this down to this very small hole is going to eliminate rocking. So look, watch this. Oh shoot, let me do it. I've got a great point, but let me push this back a bit so you can see. Let me try to find one that's a little bit dull here. Okay, watch the wording here. Hold on. Okay, did you notice it didn't shake too much? I don't know if you could really tell. It gave us a nice point. It didn't shake too much because the plastic casing is going to keep it from rocking. And I think there's little grippers in there that should do that here as well, but you do have a larger opening that could allow some rocking to happen. So let me just grab another pencil. I think most of these are pretty well sharp, but let's just try this one. And actually, neither of them rocked. This one didn't rock either. Those little grippies in there did a good job at securing these pencils. So I think this one's the most versatile, and I think this is going to do most people's, especially home use, is going to be perfect. This one has a little bit of an advantage for school use where it suction cups down, or if you have a, what I do is when I put mine in, a lot of times I'll just kind of hold the thing, but I don't even think I really need to hold this while I'm sharpening. Let me get a harder pencil. These Sohos from Jerry's Autorama are a little harder. Yeah, I can just hold the pencil. I don't need to hold the machine. They both auto stop. They both give you beautiful fine points. I think for most artistic and color and book use, this is going to be the better machine because it gives you such a fine point and it's very quick and it's pretty quiet. I think they were both about the same. Let's do a loudness test here. I don't have a decibel thingy, but I'm going to go a little bigger for that. All right, so that's how loud that is. Same pencil in this one. This one's a little bit quieter, so if you're, I think either of them could wake a baby, so, you know, take that for what it's worth. I think they both give great results. I think that one gives you a sharper point. They both keep your pencils from rocking when you're sharpening. You can go bigger pencils on this one. The advantage to this one is that it suction cups down, so it's not going to move around. We're using it if you're, so I'm thinking about my dad. He uses a wheelchair. If he had to sharpen a pencil, he could probably not now. He's pretty advanced. He's almost 80. He has MS, so it's not a typical situation. But I think up until a few years ago, he would be able to come up and put a pencil into a sharpener like this and sharpen it, whereas this, like, it could tip over a little more easily. You have to reach up and down, whereas this, you can have it at table height, which could be a little bit easier if you have some disabilities, and the fact that it's not going to go anywhere. So for young children and adults with disabilities, this could be a better unit, and plus you don't have to empty the hopper as often. So let's look at that. This is what I have for shavings in the hopper versus this. Now we've sharpened about the same amount of pencils here, but this one's going to hold a lot more because you don't have the sharpening mechanism right in the hopper where you do here. So again, if you're an adult with disabilities or you have a classroom full of kids, not having to sharpen this and empty this quite so often is going to be an advantage. And I'm just looking there. Okay, I'm gonna take one for the team here. I'm gonna see if I can put a pencil in here and sharpen it with the copper off, because that could be a dangerous thing if you have a classroom full of kids. It will not engage. That will not engage. Oh, okay, that one will engage without the top on, so that's something to know. I'm going to give this one to be a better option for a classroom or people with disabilities. I'm going to give this one for your general artist, crafter, adult using this without children around, because the fact that you can engage those blades without having the top on, I think is not a great design if you've got kids. I don't think it's not going to be a problem for me, but I want you to know that if you're working with children. So this one is the one that I'm going to keep on my desk. I like that I can use those bigger pencils. It's going to replace this guy here, which is wonderful, but this one's better. Just because I can go longer before I have to dump the hopper, and because it takes larger pencils. This one I might put on my desk upstairs at the the family desk, or I teach classes sometimes. This might be the one I bring into class with me, just because I know nobody's going to get hurt on it, and it's very versatile. And I usually aren't using really big jumbo pencils when I'm teaching a class. I'm generally we're using graphite, or we are using colored pencils. And great rule of thumb with any electric sharpener is to sharpen a graphite pencil every like 10 or so sharpens. I generally don't get a chance to do that because if I'm working with colored pencils, they're just going dull a lot quicker. But that's a great way to keep them lubricated and sharp. But there you have it. I'm going to link to both of these. I think they're both around $30. This is, I like the size of this. It's really attractive looking. It's a pretty color. Obviously, there's a variety of colors. This does need to be plugged in, so if you want a rechargeable option, I think AFMAT does make rechargeable options. If that, you just have to remember to have it charged when you want to use it. But that's great if you have an art cart and you want to wheel it around with you. Obviously, this one is corded, and I haven't used a rechargeable one, so I can't speak of those. But just like anything, try it out when you get it. If it doesn't work, send it back and for replacement. That's what I would say with anything. Don't buy something for someday. If you don't need it today, tomorrow, next week, don't buy it now. Wait until you need it. But I do find that electric sharpeners save my color pencils versus handheld sharpeners because, and I think mostly it comes down to the not rocking. When we put our pencils in here, we're not jiggling and rocking the pencil, and I've never been able to get to the habit of turning the pencil sharpener, especially if it's an open pencil sharpener. Your shavings are going everywhere. So for me, the convenience, the speed, I use electric pencil sharpeners. The fact that I don't break my leads, I use electric pencil sharpeners. Except for pastel and charcoal, I wouldn't recommend those in any electric pencil sharpener. I don't care, even if they make them, recommending them for, I would have to try them myself, but I wouldn't, I've never had good luck with that. Anytime I've jammed like this guy, it's because I stuck a, I thought I could do it just once, and I stuck a pastel pencil in there, and it was a bad idea. So I hope you found this helpful. I'm really happy to have this one on my desk. AFMAT did send me these for comparison, so I just want to be completely upfront, and the links are affiliate links in the video description. So if you did purchase through those links, I would see a small commission. These thoughts are my own, but I want you to be completely upfront in case you think I may weight my opinion differently. That's up to you to decide, but I don't think I do. And yeah, these work great with the soft pencils, hard pencils, and big pencils and little pencils, and square pencils, which are so hard to find something you can sharpen your square pencils with. I hope you enjoyed this quick little comparison. Let me know if you have any comments in the comments below. Also, you can read the reviews on Amazon, see what you think there. But AFMAT has been around for a long time, and I'm really happy to swap out my jar link for this one. I like the jar link. That's one I've been recommending for the last few years. It works great. The only problem I had with this was that it didn't take my larger or square pencils. So, but it did take the Derwent pencils, just FYI. Anyway, there you have it. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed these casual little studio sesh videos. And until next time, happy crafting. Bye!